Hi everybody, welcome back. So this video is going to be a little bit different than our previous videos. It's going to be mostly me. Sorry about that. But anyways, I wanted to take a short amount of time, which is probably going to be a little bit more than a short amount of time, but hopefully you guys stick around to watch the whole video. I wanted to take a minute and talk about my PCOS story. I guess to start is, what is PCOS? PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. So poly means many, cystic means cysts, and ovarian syndrome. There are a few things that go along with polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I wanted to sit down and discuss some with you guys and just tell a little bit of my story. 1 in 10 women have it. Not a lot of people like to talk about it. I haven't until now. Like, our family knows that I have it and stuff like that, but I don't really talk about it with strangers. Not that you guys are strangers, but you know what I mean. Anyways, I figured we could get into some juicy details about how it affects our life and how bus life is kind of helping us deal with it a little bit. So let's go talk about it. Back again. Okay, so the first thing I guess we should talk about is how I found out I had PCOS. A few things went into play. It wasn't like an all-together boom, we found out I had it. A lot of things went into play. I started dating Jason when I was 18, and I was much smaller then. Once I started dating Jason, I started gaining a lot of weight really fast. And a lot of people were commenting about how, oh, it's just the honeymoon phase of the relationship. You just got really comfortable, you just gained a lot of weight, it's normal, it's not a big deal. So yeah, we just thought it was normal, not a big deal. But then I will insert a picture here, right there, of the size I was when me and Jason and I first got together, and then what I look like now. But yeah, the weight gain was a big thing, and then the next kind of alarming thing that happened was that I started to not get periods. And again, it was not like we didn't worry about it, but it did kind of like cause some questions. So with that, we decided to go to the doctor, which takes a lot. I should explain. I have a huge fear, not phobia, whatever, of going to the doctor. Doctors are there to help you. I completely understand that, but I am the first one to put off going to the doctor as long as I possibly can. I, for some reason, just I don't like maybe potentially hearing bad news, so I put it off as long as I possibly can. But at the point where I wasn't getting periods and I was getting a lot of pain, we decided to go to the doctor. Do I wish we chose a different doctor? Yes. The experience of going to the doctor was something of its own. We went to a specialist, and he wasn't very special. He was actually really mean, and he didn't give me any tips, he didn't give me any knowledge on PCOS. He basically said, you have PCOS, you're fat, you're gonna get diabetes, and you're gonna die. There's nothing you can do about it. That's how it's gonna go down. So leaving that doctor's office was stressful, not understanding exactly what it was and what was gonna happen after that. Like, being told, oh, you're gonna get diabetes, you're gonna die. It's a little scary. Then he also prescribed me medication, which I'll go into a little bit more later. But yeah, that was me getting diagnosed, and it was very scary, and it was just a not good experience, which could have a lot to do with why I'm afraid of doctors. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the medication that he prescribed. A lot of people, a lot of women say that they treat their PCOS naturally, meaning that they change their lifestyle. They eat healthier, they exercise a lot more, and they just completely change their lifestyle. That is kind of the route that we are going now. We have already changed our eating habits, as Jason has mentioned in a previous video. I don't eat red meat because I have been told that it's not good for your heart. It's not good for if you have high insulin levels, which that's what PCOS also does. It causes high insulin levels. I avoid sugary drinks. Not 100% out of that yet, but we're trying. We drink a lot more water, and we're definitely being way more active than what we have been in the past. Medication-wise, I was prescribed medication. I tried it for 2 to 3 weeks, and I hated it. The only medication that they really prescribe for you it's not to cure PCOS. PCOS is not curable. It's basically to help you live with PCOS. It is to bring on periods and kind of just flatline it, I guess you could say. It did not do that for me. It did bring on periods, but it did not get rid of the pain, and it put me in a cloud. A lot of women do say that it does that. Everybody's different, but I cannot do the medication. Jason probably would agree, I do not do well on the medication, so we have completely nixed that idea. The way that we are treating it is the change of lifestyle and the change of eating habits. And that goes into the next topic. Okay. So, there was a fly, sorry. That brings us to the next part that I'd like to talk about is my eating habits. And my symptoms. Every woman has different symptoms with PCOS. Myself, I have quite a bit of pain and mood swings, which Jason will give his opinion on those after I'm done talking. But yes, I have crazy mood swings, and the biggest part for me that's noticeable for me is the anxiety that comes with it. To touch base on the not eating so much, I have a lot of anxiety about how people perceive me, I guess you could say. I get really anxious and think that everyone is judging and staring and saying, oh, she's so big, she must eat so much, and that's not really the truth. I live by the motto of never judge a book by its cover. Yes, I'm big, but that doesn't automatically mean that I sit around and I eat bags and bags of chips and junk food and stuff like that. I personally do not eat that much. I force myself to eat 2 meals a day. Sometimes I don't eat breakfast, which everybody says is the most important meal of the day, but I don't eat eggs, and cereal is not good for you, so I really don't eat that much for breakfast, and lunch is like hit or miss. If I'm hungry, I'll eat. If I'm not, I won't. And then dinner, we try to eat as healthy as possible. We try to do a protein, and we try to do veggies. We're working really hard towards eating a lot healthier than what we have in the past. We don't eat out basically at all anymore, and I'm again trying to stay away from sugary drinks. But the anxiety that comes with PCOS is killer, I guess, to say the least. It's basically being tired but not being able to go to sleep. You feel one way when it's really something different. I personally get a lot of social anxiety. Like I said, I think people are staring at me when they're really not. I'm self-conscious. I am always asking Jason, did that person look at me, or was that person saying something about me, or were they just talking about something else? and that is basically the PCOS. It's the anxiety is from that, and it's just the hormone levels that go up and down. And like I said, Jason will touch base on this. I do have a lot of mood swings, and I wish I didn't, but that's part of living with PCOS, I guess. Okay, so the one last thing I want to talk about, kind of, actually, it's the second to last thing I want to talk about, but we'll just, yeah, keep going, um, is the other big thing with PCOS is infertility. It bothered us for a long time, not knowing if we were going to be able to have children of our own. We've been told numerous times that we won't. But at this point in our life, we've been married for 5 years. We got married in 2012. Insert cute picture here, right there. But yeah, we got married in 2012. And it's been quite a few years of trying and getting disappointed and trying and getting let down and trying and just being disappointed in the end. We have both come to the terms of what's going to happen is going to happen. What's meant to be will be, and there's nothing we can do about that. If we're meant to have kids, then we'll have kids. We were meant to live in a bus, so we live in a bus. That's kind of our outlook on life. When things are supposed to happen, they'll happen. And of course, we would love to have a family. We love kids, and obviously, you could tell we love our nephew. We spoil him, but if that's supposed to happen in our life, then we've come to terms with the fact that it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. So, that's that. The only other thing about infertility is, I will comment, this may bug some people, but it really bothers me when people, and I don't think people realize it. I think that's a big thing. I don't think people actually realize them asking bothers the woman, but when people ask, and we've heard it our entire relationship, when are you guys having kids? Why aren't you guys having kids? Do you guys not want kids? It's not that you guys, it shouldn't be, shouldn't be curious about it. Of course you should be curious about it, but it's kind of, you don't know the story, you don't know the heartbreak. They may have had a miscarriage, or they may be going through infertility, they may be trying to have children and being let down, and that little question that you see as harmless and that you didn't mean to hurt feelings could devastate them in that second, because they do want to have kids and they want to say, oh, we're working on it, or we're having them, we're gonna do it, but you can't. Like, it's devastating to have to answer the people. Like, they could be the nicest people in the world and they're just curious, are you having kids, are you planning on having kids, do you want kids? And it's kind of heartbreaking to say, oh, we want kids, but we've been told we can't have kids, or we've tried for 5-6 years and we haven't had kids yet. And then you go home, and or you turn around, and it, like, just kind of reminds you that that's kind of what you want, but you can't have it. Again, me and Jason are at the point of life that our life that it did bother us. It was something, when people would ask, it kind of hurt our feelings, not because they asked, because of what we had to say in response to that. But I guess my only comment is, you can be curious, but unless you know their story, I mean, unless you know really that they can have kids, go ahead and ask. If you know that they're working on it and they've been told they can have kids and stuff like that, and you're just wondering what's taking them so long, then that's fine. But if you don't know if they have infertility issues or other issues concerning having children, I would maybe think before asking, because you never know, it could hurt somebody's feelings, and not purposely, but it just could. Like I said, for us, it doesn't really bother us anymore, because we're at the point of our lives where we will have kids when we have kids. We're not trying to have kids, but we're not trying to have kids. So if it's meant to happen, it'll happen, and that's all I gotta really say about that. Alright guys, so I will finish this babble up with how I think Bus Life is helping. Um, I think Bus Life is tremendously helping. It is forcing me to get out of my shell, I guess. When someone walks up to the bus and is like, oh, you live in a bus, that's so cool. I can't just like ignore them. I kind of have to talk to them. So it is definitely forcing me to get out of my comfort zone and just communicate more with people. I also think that it's helping be more active. We've only been here in Potter County for like 4 days, and we've walked every single day. We walked to the little mini grocery store, which we'll show you guys in another video, and we walked around town like twice now. I just think that it is opening us up to so much more activity and kind of forcing us to be a little bit more active in our lifestyle, which again is gonna help the PCOS. Sorry about the stutter there. But anyways, that's kind of my story. It's short and sweet. But other than that, that's that. I just wanted to shed some light on some PCOS for you guys if you didn't know. If you have PCOS, just let me know if you have it. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to pick your brain a little bit. Also, if you like this video, you should like the video. And you should subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. And like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and all that good stuff that Jason always talks about all the time. And yeah, thanks for watching, and we will see ya next time. Thanks for watching.